Hello there, and welcome to the game The Monster Breeder. Today I will try to explain you all the game mechanics and give you some advices how to play this game, how to make your experience better and how to survive all the brutal fights you will have along the way. So let's start with the beginning. Let's start a new game. When you start a new game, you are able to choose level of difficulty. Here. If you want some more relaxing experience, you can go for Apprentice or Beginner. As you can see, for each level of difficulty you will have additional benefits or hardness. For example, the easiest difficulty is Apprentice. You will have much more rewards from Arena, enemies will have minus 30% strengths, you will have more money, more skills for your guys, less upkeep, cheaper constructions, and you will sell your stuff for a lot of money. Let's take basic level, experienced. No benefits and no negative sides to the old base values to the game. Your main character ages and will die in old age. It will be a long way till this happens, so it's not a problem. This is more dangerous. Monster can be crippled as a result of a combat injuries. So if your monster dies, for example, in non-lethal combat or will be reduced to low health, it can get injury and be crippled. So he'll have penalty for his skills. Okay, these are more advanced level, so basically all these are increased difficulty for more experienced players. So if it's your first playthrough, maybe I recommend do not use all this. This one is enough. You can change your banner, colors of your banner and so on. And here you can check one of 3 starting provinces. All they have some benefits. For example, this one gives you more mages to recruit, Alchemists are skilled in brewing healing potions, Blacksmiths are skilled in enchanting, more magic stuff and healing potions at local merchants. In my opinion, the easiest one and maybe the best for newcomers will be this one. You will have more archers and alchemists to recruit. You will need alchemists for making potions which increase stats of your creatures. So alchemists are very important in this game. Fewer blacksmiths to recruit. This is bad if you are going to use a lot of human soldiers. But if you're interested in creatures, you need alchemists much more. Alchemists are skilled in poison making, more master smiths among blacksmiths. This is good for making good weapons for your human soldiers. And more bows, poisons and light armor, local merchants. So basically we are taking this because of more alchemists to recruit. Also, archers are pretty good early game to kill enemies from afar. So let's start our game. Let's go to the character selection. Before game start, you will create your own character. If this character dies in combat, you lose. So there are 3 characters which can participate in combat: warrior, archer and sorcerer, and 2 characters which cannot participate in combat. This is blacksmith and alchemist. So basically you will have alchemist or blacksmith from the beginning and your character cannot perform fights on the arena and so on. You can go for 2 of fighter classes. For example, warrior, he has quest called manhunting, allowing you to track down bandits, deserters and escaped slaves. It could be good and you can participate in arena fights, but if this character dies, your game basically overs. Game over. Archer has hunting. Hunting gives you possibility to use quest hunting wild animals. I think other three are more interesting. For example, Sorcerer gives you possibility to increase taming faster. Taming needs you to tame creatures, and then these tamed creatures could participate in non-lethal combat. Untamed creatures can participate only in lethal combats. And you will get possibility to blood infusion tool from the beginning to transfuse blood. This is used when you breed in new monsters. So Sorcerer pretty nice. And two guys without possibility to participate in combat. First one is Blacksmith. It will take a slot, blacksmith slot in your castle, and you will be able to forge weapons and armor from the beginning. So if you're interested in making human warriors, this guy could be good. But for my opinion, Alchemist is better. Alchemist can brew potions without hiring anyone. He has from the start additional item which increase stats of the potion he bred, called Alembic set. And he can collect herbs. Additionally, you have a chance to get alchemy ingredients every turn. So, whom do you want to use? It's up to you. Let's maybe get Sorcerer or some guy. Okay, let's go Archer. It doesn't matter, you have 0 skill points available, but you can reduce something and increase something. Actually, on the screen we can see basic traits of both human characters and monsters. For example, okay, intelligence is only for humans characters. This gives you faster development during training. This could be good for human characters because they train every turn. Health points. How many health points do you have? It depends how long you'll live through the battle. In this game, all the stats are kept at 100, so you start at 15 health points and maximum is 100. The same for all others. So, strength. Strength is physical damage, basically, and for human characters, it depends on strength, how many armor and how heavy armor can you actually use. Every single item in the game has its own weight, so when you put, for example, heavy armor on the character and he has very bad strength, he will have a lot of penalties to movement and to action points, so you can't use a lot of armor with bad strength. And for monsters, strength is physical damage, so it's strength of its bites. Endurance. Endurance determines how much energy you regain at the beginning of each turn. So, and energy. Energy is a resource which you spend every turn for all actions. For attacking, for moving, and also for dodging and parrying. So, when you attack and when you've been attacked by someone else, for each action you have to spend energy. So energy is very important. And endurance is also very important because every turn you will regain some part of this energy. And higher level of endurance gives you more energy each turn. It could be very important, especially in the beginning while you have low values of energy and endurance. So it will be much harder to survive long fights with bad stats in endurance and energy. Agility. Agility basically gives you a lot of stuff. First of all, it gives you more action points, so you can attack more, you can move more, and you can parry or dodge more. Also, it increases your chance to successfully dodge, parry, or land attacks. So agility is pretty important stunt as well. Last, this is magic resistance. At early game it is not as important, but you will need to improve it into the late game because there are 4 elemental types of damage in this game. It's fire, poison, shock, and ice. All of them are dealing any damage to you, and this damage only could be mitigated by high magic resistance. But in early game it's not as important as other stats. Also, there are combat skills. Critical chance, it means you can deal double damage. Counterattacks determine how many times he can counterattack. So basically, during combat, when you are attacked, you can counterattack when enemy landed a hit on you. So it determines how many times you can actually counterattack. And these are skills for weapons. So our guy, we put archer, and we have 10 skill one-handed weapons and 20 bows. I think we won't be using one-handed, so let's go to increase bow skill. And these are defensive skills, one-handed parry and dodge. These are more important for warriors, who will be frontliner, and he needs high level of these stats. And also there are a lot of fears in this game. So basically all these fears also kept in 100. If you have high level of fears, you will lose action point during fight when you fighting opposing. For example, this guy, if you will have, for example, 100 fear, 90 fear of reptiles, if you will fight with reptiles, you will lose each turn you will lose some action points, and it actually could be very dangerous, to the point that you will have no action points left for attacking during your turn. So fears, you need to keep an eye on your fears. Okay, that's it. Let's actually start our game. And we are on your main screen. This is map of the realm screen. There are a lot of different scenes on the screen, so let's start from the left up corner. So you have here our settings. You can check and change your options, and here you can manually save or manually load your game. This is one-player game, single-player game, so you can actually save as much as you like and load if you've done something wrong or if you just want to experiment with something. Also, now is available encyclopedia inside this game. Encyclopedia is superb. It really helps you a lot to gain more understanding of some games mechanics, and when you are trying to get, for example, find out about specific monsters. We will see it later if we need it. So every day you will have some important messages on your left side of the screen. For example, this is a quest. We can open this quest and we will see that we have a quest for druids. When you click this arrow, you will have a possibility to accept or reject this quest. I can tell you now that druids quests are the most important in early games. You need to finish one or two their quest to get one important addition. I will tell you later about this, but I recommend to do their quest as fast as possible and never reject them. So we accepted the quest, and on the right side we have under quests our quest. Now we need to wait some time till this quest could be available. Okay. Next message, we can see that now it's available Druid Market. Druid Market is the most important for myself. I think it's the most important months during the year when you have this Druid Market. It gives you a possibility to buy tamed creatures. For now, if you just started the game, you have a couple of creatures available for hire. We will come back to this later when we'll be looking for monsters. But just remember that Druid's Market is very important. You can see annual events. So all the events in this game is activated depending on the months you are on. So now we started in March. And in March we have Druid's Market. So Druid's Market is available only once per year, the same as all others different events. Let's quickly check them. So King's Own Tournament, this is the biggest tournament in the game. It gives you the best rewards in the game, money and so on. Arms Fair, this is market when you can buy a lot of good weapons, also upgrades for your blacksmith. Druid's market. Druid's market gives you a possibility to buy upgraded versions of monsters when you finish all the Druid's quests. As I said, you need to do only once. Finish 2 quests for Druids, and then you will be able to use full potential of Druid's market for all the game. On April you will have another tourney, this poisonous tournament, Venom Whirl. On May you will have Guild's Fair. Guild's Fair is another important event. You can buy a lot of stuff for your Alchemist there, and so on. Inferno on July, this is another tourney, fire tourney, when you're fighting with some benefits and for fire monsters. On August there is a herbs market. Herbs market, this is a place where you can buy all the different herbs which your alchemist will use for making potions. So this one is very important for alchemist because some materials you can buy only on this unique event. On December you will have October-December Caravan. Caravan gives you a possibility to buy slaves. Slaves can be used different ways in this game. For example, they can be used for decreasing building speed of your buildings. Also, they can help your blacksmith and alchemist to make potions faster. And also, slaves could be used as fighters. You don't need to pay them, you just once buy them and they will stay with you till they die. And the last one, we can use slaves for getting human blood potions, which can be used for breeding. I will explain it a little bit later. And in November you will have Frozen Storm event. It's another ice tournament like this, but unique one. Okay, that said, let's go again. You will be given some basic tutorial when you start your game about slaves and so on, about money. Okay, let's actually move on. On the upper screen you can see your money. This one, we have 8,900 gold coins, and this is our first turn. And here you can see your game months. So now it's March, so you can always check which annual fair will be next. Let's proceed. Oh, and here's a map of your realm. Every turn you will have a couple of events opened. Every turn you will have this catacomb fight. This catacomb fight gives you a possibility to use your monsters to fight in 3 different types of combats. Basically, you can use this one, first execution, as easy way to get some money and to level up your creatures. But for this you need to get some monsters. Now we have only one monster because we have our hunter here. This is our main guy. He has this short bow and a sword. I will tell about warriors and monsters later, but just I want to show you that you can use your monsters to fight these battles. We will come to the battles later. We can have different events like this, or we can fight in the tournament. I will tell you about fighting a little bit later. So, next stop is our base. We are starting with Old Keep, and you can start with repairing 2 cells. I think it is good to repair these 2 cells because before doing anything else. These upgrades are cheap, it costs only 500 gold and takes only 1 turn. So, good way to start is to repair these 2. Next stop, I think it will be to build hatchling cabin. Hatchling cabin you need for breeding your monsters. It protects them from extreme temperatures. Let's see all the buildings. Hatchling cabin you need to for breeding. Monster kennel, it's basically house for your monsters. Each basic building has 3 levels of upgrade, and on the final level you have a lot of new benefits. We will see every building. For example, let's see monster kennel. On first level it's just a basic outdoor kennel suitable for housing 4 monsters. On the last level it gives you a possibility to pick for every your monsters different temperature and humidity conditions. Each monster in this game has its own preferable temperature and humidity conditions, so it is very important to have such possibility to choose which humidity level and temperature level each monster has. Hatchling cabin. Hatchling cabin gives you a possibility to not only to breed your monsters, but also on higher levels it gives you a possibility to enhance them during breeding process. I will explain it in more detail a little bit later, but this is building, I suppose it's the most important building if you're oriented on breeding monsters, and I think we are all here to breed monsters. Alchemist shack. This is building for Alchemist, and it provides some efficiency bonus for our Alchemist. Also in higher levels it will give you more room for additional apprentices or slaves to work in the alchemy lab. Blacksmith hut, the same as Alchemy but for blacksmith. Also increases effectiveness of the building and gives a space for more apprentices and slaves to help. Next one is lodging. Lodging base, it's basically building for people. We have now bedroom for 4 people. If you want to have a lot of human guys and slaves, you will need these lodgings. Next one is storage shed. Storage shed is just basic storage building. We can check our storage here. Now we have 5 different potions, and we have 35 room for storage. To increase the storage spaces we need to build this storage shed. Next ones are altars. You can build one of 3 altars. You will need them later. This one gives you development bonus for your human guys. So if you're oriented on making a lot of good human soldiers, this one is for you. If you're more oriented on breeding, I think you need to go for Altar of Vitality or Altar of Purity. Altar of Vitality gives you reduced abomination illness of eggs, hatchlings and juvenile creatures, and reproduction time of adult monsters is reduced. I think this one is the best for monster breeding. Abomination illness basically means that if you will have some high level of this abomination illness, when your creature became adult, it will have a lot of bad outcomes, so its lifespan will be reduced and so on. So it is the best way is to reduce this abomination illness during breeding stage. And last one is Altar of Purity. It increases your alchemist potential. It's quite good, but I think Altar of Vitality is the best one. For starters, I recommend to build these 2 and then go for Hatchling cabin, for example. Okay, next stop is our monsters. For now we have only one beast. And let's check his stats. On the right side of this, on the middle you have his name. You can rename it as you wish. You can place any name you want. You can place him, now he is staying in courtyard. You can place him in, for example, our dungeon cell. Different accommodations for monsters have different levels of temperature and humidity. As you can see, on the courtyard it is warm and damp, and in dungeon cell it is cool and damp. Okay, every creature has different tolerances. This one has pretty high tolerances, so it doesn't matter when to put them, but some creatures will need much less suitable conditions, so you need to be careful. So you can see on the right side of the screen basic traits and abilities. This one is his species type. This one is mammal. Here you can see its sex. This one is male. Here you can see that it's fully tamed, so it can participate in quests and non-lethal fights. Untamed monsters can participate only in lethal fights. Here's this diet type. This one has 40% plant diet, so basically it determines only his upkeep cost. Plant diet means you will pay much less for upkeep of such monsters. It could be very important maybe on higher level difficulties when you will have much less money. Next, here you can see the level of this monster. He is level 1 and you need 100 experience for next level. This one, his reproduction time, when you breed in him. This one, his age. Monsters will become old when reaching 80% of its lifespan. What does it mean? It means that at 80% of lifespan you can no longer breed this monster or sell this monster. So you need to be careful if you are preparing creature for breeding. Litter size. Litter size means how many offsprings can you have during breeding phase. So this creature has litter size 3, so when you breed this one with someone with also 3 litter size, you will have 3 offsprings. This is her maximum lifespan, his maximum lifespan, 6 years. 6 years is mediocre. I suppose the least lifespan insects has about 2 years. Mammals has 6, and the longest lifespan is reptiles one, up to 13 years. As you remember, we have each turn is 1 month, so 12 turns it's 1 year. So 6 years it's okay, it's quite a long time. This here is abomination illness. You have 0 value here, this is good. You need to reduce it during breeding, so basically you need to try to get always 0 abomination illness level. This is his tameness and resilience. Okay, here's to humidity tolerance. So this guy has pretty high range of tolerances, wide range. He can live in any humidity levels. The same for temperature tolerance. He has wide range of tolerances, so he basically can live anywhere. Now we have the same stats I was talking about during our character creation. We have health level. Actually, he has pretty nice stats for starters. He has 30 health points, 28 strength, 29 agility, 5% crit, 27 physical protection. Okay, yeah, physical protection. Physical protection protects you from physical damage. It's all the bites and so on. So it's a really important stat for your defensive capabilities. Energy 46 is pretty good. I remind you that maximum is 100 for all these stats. And endurance 49, basically good as well. This is field of vision. It's important during fights. When you attacking your creature from behind, it will be free attack. And they will be always successful. So creatures with higher level of vision range basically are protected from much larger angles of attack. And here's important thing. Every creature has different abilities. This guy has 2 abilities. Protector. As you can see, this ability is inheritable. That means that when you will be breeding this monster, you will have a chance to inherit this ability to your offsprings. Inheriting abilities is one of the ways to improve your monsters in the game. Basically, there are a couple of superb skills which you should aim for, and you can actually try to get as many skills as possible on your offsprings. And this one part, his fears. He has pretty high level of fears. There are a couple of ways to reduce them. Some of them are reduced during breeding while you're using different potions, scrolls, and so on. And some of them can be reduced while breeding with monster who has less level of fears. Okay, so I bought a couple of creatures to show you. You can buy juvenile creatures from the vendors, or you can breed them yourself. I bought these 4 juvenile creatures to show you some stuff. So basically, when you have your offsprings, you have a couple of turns till they become adult. You can see this number here. So alligator has 3 turns till he will be able to participate in combat, so he'll become adult. In the left bottom corner, you have your inventory with different potions. This, for example, this weak swiftness potion, it will give you some bonus for your agility. This is a way to improve your monster. So you can use this potion, place it here, and on the right side you will have a possibility to see what effects you will have. So this guy will have plus 1.4 agility. The same we can use, for example, weak stone skin potion to increase his physical protection. And the drawback of this, we will have decreased tolerance for dry climate. Here you can increase amount of food gaining. What does it mean? It increases your upkeep cost twice. So now its upkeep cost 80, it was 40 before, but it gives you some increase to stats. So it will give you plus 0.3 strength per turn and health points. So actually this is very good when you have some money to increase his food intake. And you have 3 turns until he grows up. I would like to point out a couple of moments. In early game, you need to aim for some good skills. I said you before that you need to finish a couple of Druid quests because you will have a possibility to buy different creatures from Druid's market. Let's actually check this Druid market. It is here. Now it is Druid market. Why it is important? You can buy grown-up creatures here with different skills. And when you finish a couple of Druid quests, you will have a possibility to buy unique upgraded versions of monsters, which you can't get anywhere in the game except from Druid's market. I think closer to the end of the video I will explain which creatures are the best and why. We have place only for 4 eggs now, and if you buy another monster, you can see we are keeping it in the courtyard, so it could be best for us. Couple of reasons. First of all, every single monster or egg has his own tolerances for temperature and damp and humidity. So for example, if this monster here needs, for example, not warm but cold climate, it will have a lot of abomination illness from staying outside. So the best way, you need to keep your monsters in suitable environment. So that's why we need to build here our hatchling cabin. This one. It will give us better, more suitable conditions for your offsprings here. Okay, so here we have our juvenile monsters and eggs. On this page you have all your human warriors, archers and mages. About humanoid creatures, you have possibility to show his stats, and for human creatures you have this training program. So basically you have to pick which skills should be trained annually. Every human increases their stats every month. And here you can, by placing this slider to the different levels, you can ensure that your human warriors will train skills you want. For example, archer needs more agility and bow skill, and he doesn't need one-handed parry because we won't use weapon, and I don't want to use melee weapons. So this way we will have much more stats increase per year. That's how we will increase stats of our human warriors. And here you can see end result for each year. Let's actually check other stats which we weren't seeing before. This is courage. If you will hire another humans warriors, you will have different levels of courage, and they could refuse to engage little combat missions. That's why you will need to pay them additional money for participating in little combats. This value is compensation. Basically, when we'll hire another guys, you will have a let's actually recruit someone quickly here. So we have this guy. He has 700 gold. You need to compensate if this guy dies. Here you can see his salary. You have to pay 74 gold each turn to this guy. So basically every warrior you hire, you need to pay every month some upkeep for them. And you cannot fire him for 6 turns after you hire them. These are his default actions, protections, fears, and combat skills. Here you can see his health points, action points. Action points you use for actions, for attacking and for using abilities. Critical chance and counter attacks. These are his one-handed skill and two-handed weapon skill. And defense for defensive skills, one-handed parry, two-handed parry with two-handers, shield skill, and dodge. So basically, if you are working with a warrior, you need to think how are you going to use him, because it is not the best idea to just level up all. I think we will use him, for example, with one-handed weapon and shield, so we don't need two-handers and we don't need two-handed parry. Actually, we can go maybe for more agility and leave something like this, because we don't need these skills. And if you want to use him as two-hander, you don't need one-handed weapons and you don't need one-handed parry and shield. So that's up to you. Every monster and character in game has different skills on level up. So this blue button here, his skills. Every level you will have one additional skill point. I want to point out you from the beginning, if you are aiming to keep creature or human soldier for long, the best way is to increase his development bonus first. Why? Because he will gain more experience, and the most important, on level 5 of this skill you will be gaining 2 skill points instead of 1 per level. So the fastest way to level up character is to improve development bonus to the maximum and then to maximize all other skills you want. So let's talk about a little bit about later upgrading. For example, we have our melee guy here. He can be equipped with helmet, with armor, with 2 pauldrons, 2 gauntlets, 2 greaves, one-handed sword and shield here. Also, he can use some abilities, some potions during the fight to increase his abilities or to heal, for example. This could be used for secondary equipment. Depending on his strengths, you could be burdened with your armor. This guy is actually level 20, so he has pretty high level of strength, and he is able to use all this equipment. For example, if we take someone new, for example this guy, and if we put, for example, good sword in his hand, you will have burden 11. Now let's actually just take some stuff. If you place this armor, you will have you can see that his burden is now up to 60%. And the heavier loadout he has, the less benefits or even drawbacks he'll have. So for example, if we place shield here, helmet, pauldron, greave, and this one, you can see that we will lose 3 points of agility this way. But it's not as bad. If he'll have pretty high levels, he will have all the needed stats. So basically, these are tanks. They have pretty high level of strength. What about archers? For archers, we need to craft lighter equipment. When we were talking about blacksmith, we can see that we have a possibility to manipulate with weight and protection levels of our armor. So basically, if we are crafting equipment for our archers, we should aim for lighter armor, because archers need more action points and they have less strength than warriors, so they can be burdened a lot with heavy armor. So you need to be careful, especially in early game, not to overburden your range guys, because they will have less attack possibilities, less movement points, and so on. Basically, you need to aim to increase your stats and also to give them the best possible weapon and armor in the current period. For tanks, you need to use heavier weapons, heavier armor with higher levels of protection, and for archers you can use some light armor. The most important is the power of their weapons. Also, every weapon for humans can be enchanted with different properties. For example, this guy has this bow of shock. It has additional properties. It has property Monster Slayer, which means this guy will deal increased damage to monsters, which is very important on the arena when you are fighting with monsters. And also I put Bleeding Wound on his bow, so when he landed his hit, monster will be losing a couple of health points each turn. Just additional passive damage dealing. So my advice to use this combination, for example, for middle and late game, Monster Slayer plus Bleeding Wound. I think this is a pretty good combination of skills. Okay, so here's our Alchemy skill. I loaded my other save to show you Alchemy shop. So in the left side, firstly we can see our main Alchemist and all his skills. Here you can hire, on the highest level of Alchemy shop, you can hire up to 2 apprentices, which help him to craft potions faster, and you can assign up to 4 slaves to help. Also for Alchemy and Blacksmith shop, you are able to buy all these different upgrades, which increase speed of crafting potions, increase their potency and decrease side effects, and gives you different additional stats. So basically I have all those upgrades. What does it mean? And here you can have a button to craft your potions. So for every potion you have their basic potion strengths, side effects, which potion will have, how much labor points you need to make it, and ingredients which will be used. Also, because I have all these books, I can use substitutes to use less main ingredient, or I can make a potion which will be suitable for different type of creatures. For example, we can use these books of insects, and this potion will have plus 30% increased strength if it will be used on X insectoid monsters. Same for each other potions. We have a lot of potions in the game. Some of them, like Endurance Potion, Taming, Swiftness, Stone Skin, Growth, are potions which increase direct stats. For example, Strength, Endurance, Agility, and so on. So you are using those potions during breeding period for improving stats of your monsters. Potion of Cure are used for curing your abomination illness, so it is very important to use potions of cure to cure all the abomination illness you will get during breeding process. You have spawning potion. This one increase number of offsprings, so it is good when you, for example, trying to get as much skills as possible for your creature. You are using this spawning potion to increase number of offsprings. Crossbreed potion. Crossbreed potion is essential for breeding different species. For example, if you will breed two same monsters, for example, two ants, you don't need any crossbreed potions. But when you'll try to breed ant, for example, with some other monster for anyone, you will need crossbreed potion for this. So these are essential ones. Brew of Alteration. These brews give you a random chance of getting positive or negative mutations. What does it mean? During breeding period, you can get additional skills or additional stats based on random mutations, or you can have negative mutations, so you can have your stats reduced. So it's just lottery. You can use them for free just to see what's going on. And actually, if you are just playing for fun, you can save load before you will have before your juvenile monsters became adult, to like see different results. Save load and you will see different results for using this brew. And last 4 potions, Fire, Frost, Shock and Poison. These potions increase skills level which connected to this elemental. For example, this one will increase your fire skin and fire speed bonuses, also fire bite. We will talk about skills in a second. So these potions you'll need in the mid-game, closer to the late game. Next one, our Blacksmith. Blacksmith also, you have your own blacksmith and 2 apprentices and up to 4 slaves. Also, blacksmith shop has 5 different upgrades, which gives you a possibility to use better materials and make better stuff, so on and so on. You can forge weapons or you can forge armor here. You can choose your, for example, what do you want? Here you can see stats, protection, weight and materials. You can use different level of qualities, different materials, which gives you different bonuses. For example, this is standard steel. It gives you nothing special. Light steel makes your final stuff lighter. It's good for example, for archers. They don't have enough strength, so you need to make their armor lighter. So you can use light steel. And also you can use different compounds to improve different aspects. And you have, for example, Moonstone. It reduces even more weight of your final item. Then you'll have, for example, Army Steel. It makes your physical protection higher, but it makes your stuff heavier. And last you have Arcane Steel. Arcane Steel makes your physical protection lesser, but it gives you bonus for enchantments. For example, we can get frost resistance on this scene, and Arcane Steel gives you plus 30% for this. And you can use some other compound. So connecting all this stuff gives you possibility to make suitable equipment and modify it for different purposes. The same for weapons. You can make short sword with, for example, maximum level from Arcane Steel, enchanting with frost and make it, for example, lighter. Or add some additional bonuses like Mammal Killer here. Okay, good. Next one is recruits. You can recruit different guys. Here you can recruit your warriors. Here you can recruit your archers. And to look, the list, these ones cost the least. 20 years old, level 1, has some stats, his salary. And here you can hire, for example, level 8 archer with 7 additional skill points available for you, with better stats and so on. So basically you can go and train him from the beginning, or if you have enough money, you can just buy a different guy. The same for mages, blacksmiths and so on. One thing I want to point out: when you hire blacksmith or alchemist, my recommendation is to hire guys with the highest intelligence level possible. Intelligence gives you a possibility to level up your alchemy or blacksmith skill much faster. And secondary, you need to see attributes. So dabber or greedy, these bad traits. You need to try to hire guys with good attributes. For example, we have a lot of alchemists. Let's see this one. This one is drunkard, dabber. So he used more raw material, and also he has some problems, and he has low intelligence. So if you need one new alchemist, you are going to find someone with high level of intelligence. This one has intelligence 67, but he cruel to slaves, so slaves less efficient. But he is skilled herbalist. He has not so high side effects. So again, intelligence is the key. So basically you are aiming for the highest intelligence possible. This is our markets. These three, weapon merchant, local hunters and alchemist store, are available every turn. On weapon merchant you can buy basic ingredients, or you can buy some basic weapon. On local hunters you can buy different kind of meats. These meats increase your monster's damage against enemy creatures. For example, insectoid meats increase your damage to insectoids and decrease fear of insectoids. Also, here you can buy different eggs which you can breed, or juvenile creatures with different skills. So for starters it is okay to use it. And Alchemist store sells basic ingredients for basic potions. For higher level of stuff you need to use special events. For example, Druids markets, Arms Fair, Guilds Fair, Herbs Market, which gives you unique stuff. So, for example, Guilds Fair event. This event you need to pay for on higher difficulties and is free on lower difficulties. Here you can buy hatchlings and juvenile creatures with different stats and also eggs. The most importantly, you can buy hybrids here. You can scroll for example, this guy has 4 different skills, which is quite good. So basically you can actually be lucky and find someone with pretty good skills. You can browse for all these guys. Also in the Guild Fair events you can buy organs with different bonuses. Maximum condition of organ is 70%, for you to know. And here you can buy potions. In the early game you can buy pretty good potions. In late game you will be doing much better potions yourself, but in early game especially you can buy pretty nice potions here. Just look for their strengths and side effects. Another thing, you can buy potions with blood. As I said maybe before, concentrated, for example, reptile blood is very nice for increasing lifespan of your monsters, and human blood is good for increasing tolerances of your monster as well. So on August you have another event called Herbs Market. This is only place you can buy high-end components for your potions, not just the basic stuff, but all the stuff in the game. For example, in the late game the most important for you will be Erinia Grass. This is an additional component which gives you a possibility to make better potions for hybrid creatures. Also in Herbs Market you can buy all the ingredients, and additionally you can buy potions for your human fighters. which you can use in the game, in the fight I mean. So this is a place where you actually bind your Alchemist components every time. Next one is Caravan. Caravan gives you a possibility to buy two types of slaves. Slaves workers, which you can use to help you building your buildings on the base faster, or you can use these slaves to help your Alchemist and Blacksmith to perform his actions faster. And second type of slaves are slaves warrior. Basically, you can use slave warrior instead of hiring people. You need to pay this value once to buy this guy, and then you have no need to pay any upkeep for them instead of your human warriors whom you hiring. So they are needed to be bought only once. Also, you can buy some upgraded weapons from here. For early game, you can buy pretty good weapons from here. In the late game, you will be able to craft with your blacksmith much better equipment. Another important event is Arms Fair. In this event, you are able to buy all the stuff for your blacksmith. Also, okay, yeah, I loaded my main save, so you will have a possibility also to buy upgrades from your blacksmith, from Arms Fair, and also from other these events I was talking previously. You will be able to buy upgrades for Hassling Cabin and for Alchemist shop. This is also most important part to gain all these abilities. So for example, here you have all these runestones possible and scrolls. So all this stuff you need to buy from Guild's Fair event, I suppose. And for Alchemy shop you need to buy all these books and so on. It should be also bought from these unique events. Is the research. On the research page you are improving your out of combat like skills. Firstly, you need to perform vivisection. Basically, you need to kill one species, for example, insect, and you will gain combat surgery insectoid. It gives you a possibility to save sometimes lethally wounded creature, but this saved creature lose a lot of HP. But in higher levels, you'll reduce this health loss after a life-saving operation. The most important part for me is this two, organ implantation. So basically, you will have an ability to implant organ into adult creature. Each organ gives you some percentage of increase to some stat or to some elemental stuff. Why this is important? Because some skills, for example, spiny skin and so on. Spiny skin, I mean fire skin, poison skin, they can be increased only during organ implantation. For example, if you want to have spiny skin level 100, you need to implant 7 different organs. So you need to breed creature 3 times and each time implant up to 3 organs into one creature to increase its level. Let's actually show you. For example, I have a creature here and I want to implant organ. In the maximum level, I have a possibility to implant 3 organs. For example, I want to increase my spiny skin bonus. We don't have spiny skin, we need a monster with spiny skin. Okay, this one. I want to increase, he has now spiny skin level 18. Let's place 3. So we can upgrade his spiny skin by 42. And if we want 100, we need to do this twice. So next generation we will perform this again. And for both parents. So organs could be very important. Or we can get some other bonuses to stats or so on. So let's see our monster lab. Monster Lab is the highest level of upgrading for our Hassling Cabin. And here you can now, on level 3, you can have 3 places for runestones. What does it mean? When you have, for example, egg here, you can place up to 3 runes in the same time. We can use Runestone of Purify. It will decrease our Abomination Illness each turn. As you can see, now we have -5 Abomination Illness per turn. I think this is single most important rune in the game to decrease this Abomination Illness. Then we can have Rune of Taming. It increases your taming level. I think one of the least important ones. This rune improves your fire resistance and, for example, fire bites. So if you have fire bite of the creature, you place it here. The same for frost and shock. It improves your resistance for frost and shock and also increase damage for shock and frost bites. As you can see, each rune increase your Abomination Illness but increase fire damage. And you can actually choose a level from 1 to 10. How strong it is. On first level it gives you plus 0.3 frost damage, and from this one you give plus 3. Now I have all stuff maximized here, so I have pretty high reduction in Abomination Illness. If you just newly started your game, you will have a lot of levels of Abomination Illness. It will be quite hard to do a lot of stuff at the same time. But we are aiming for the best. So you can use a rune for increasing your skills, and you have ability to use 3 different magic scrolls. Magic scrolls are improving your main attributes. So basically you can increase your agility for your monster, strength, and so on. My recommendation for new creatures, you should go for health, agility first, health, energy, and endurance. For strength is the least efficient, and Scroll of Resistance you can ignore up to the mid game or even late game. Another mechanic is blood infusion. So you can use these potions we are crafting with our Alchemist to infuse your juvenile monsters, starting with X. What do we have here? We have 2 types of bottles. We have blood bottles. For example, we have reptile blood. Reptile blood gives us increase in the lifespan. This one is very important. For example, if you want to breed your insects. Insects has pretty low level of lifespan from the beginning. They have about 2 years lifespan. This is very bad. So what are you doing? You are using concentrated or different levels of reptile blood. It will give them lifespan. These creatures have about 10 years lifespan already, so it is not as big. But for insects with bad lifespan, it could give +2, +3 years of lifespan in one go. So it is very important to use blood potions to increase your lifespan of your offsprings. Second one is human blood potion. Human blood potion, it gives us better tolerances for temperature and for humidity. It is quite good in the mid game because when you still don't have all the structures upgraded and you have some monsters with pretty bad tolerances. So the way to improve it, to use human blood potions. You will have greatly increased tolerances. Also, human blood potion gives you some extra skill points. So it is good if you are going to improve your monster and you need additional skill points from the beginning. Okay. Secondary, we have potions which are crafted by our Alchemist. For example, we can use our agility potion, endurance one. Will give you 5 endurance to the monster after he will become adult. The same you can go for growth potion to increase strength and agility, swiftness potion to increase agility. And stone skin to increase defense. You can also use meat here. Meat will increase your extra damage. For example, as you can see, insectoid bite bonus. So it will count for your total damage against insects. The same for reptile, mammals, humans, and hybrids. All these you can increase up to 100% bonus against those creatures. So this is the way to breed your monsters closer to mid-late game, you can upgrade the bonuses against, for example, hybrids. You will have a lot of fights with hybrids, so the way to improve your damage to use this meat during breeding phase. Other stuff you can use here also your potions, but not as good as here. For example, as you can see here, let's take one. We have endurance increased by 5.4, but when we're using it not in the infusion slots, but here, it is twice less effective. We will increase endurance only by 2.9 points instead of 5. So the best way to use potions here and to use some kind of meat or something else here. But if you have a lot of potions, you can use potions there as well. But you can buy on your Druid's market special stuff. This, for example, mediocre downy leaf, it gives you additional agility without any side effects. So this is great to improve your stats without gaining any side effects. Also, from this kind of stuff you have bloom root, which increase your lifespan. You can have mudworm, which increase your resilience, and you have bone to increase your bite. Resilience by 4, bite strength by 4. So you can have all this various stuff to increase health attributes of your monster. And we can fill all these slots if we need. And the most common practice is to use curing potions in the end to reduce all the abomination illness you will get in the process. So this way we will maximize effectiveness of this breeding period, so your final creature will have a lot of stats increased. Okay. So when you complete a couple of quests for druids, you will have an upgraded druids market. And let's talk about some additional game mechanics. So when you have your druids market upgraded, you'll have a chance to buy upgraded monsters. For example, we'll have this battle rat. You can see in the description that this is enhanced subspecies of the spiny rat. It was bred by the druids and not found in nature. It can dodge every melee attack for a turn using an ability called Flawless Defense. What does it mean? While this guy has enough energy, he will dodge all the attacks. This is actually crazy, but you need high level of energy. So basically it means that you will be attacked only while you attacking. Second superb creature is Green Ant Rider. Green Ant is the only creature in the game which has 0 fears. You can see no fears here at all. And Green Ant Rider, this is upgraded species, and he has Fearless Aura. This ability gives you a possibility to decrease fear level of nearby friendly creatures. This is superb skill. And Green Ants are superb early game because they have no fears. For example, you can see Battle Rat has pretty high level of all the fears. So basically it means that every fight you will lose some action points because of the fear. And this guy has no fears at all. And when you breed Green Ant with any other creatures, for example with this one, resulting offsprings will have their fears between 0 and these values. For example, this fear of fire will have value from 0 to 83. So this is a great way to decrease your fears overall when breeding with Green Ants. Another superb creature is Horrid Worm. He has 3 great skills. Greater lifesteal, it means every attack you will heal for a portion of damage, not a portion with fixed amount, I suppose 6 health per attack. Killer's Revival, this is insane skill. Basically, when we are killing another monster with this guy, he'll heal up to full health. And Spiny Skin. Spiny Skin is defensive skill. It means that when you are attacked, you have a chance to retaliate with some fixed amount of damage. And saying this, let's go to the Gillow Beast. This is another enhanced species, and he has almost the most unique and powerful traits for the early game. He has Spiny Skin 100 and skill called Total Spininess. What does it mean? It means that this creature always retaliates with some portion of passive damage. I had a fight when I suppose 4 enemy monsters just killed themselves on this guy. Only one drawback: to inherit this Total Spininess you need to find another creature or to get Spiny Skin up to 100. It could be difficult, but for early game you can just use Gillow Beasts to have superb defensive capabilities. Dread Wolf give you another upgraded skill, Pack Attack. It just means that if some creature nearby your creature can't retaliate, this guy will retaliate for themselves. It's good skill, but not as good as some others. Another superb skill is Great Energy Steal. This upgraded dire alligator has possibility to decrease enemy energy each attack. In early game, this skill is second best with this one. So basically every attack you are decreasing enemy energy steal, and if you have couple of attacks and bad energy regeneration on an enemy, you can put them in a situation where they just can't attack you back. Okay, and these are basic monsters. So my big advice for early game: to open this advanced Druids market as fast as possible to finish their quests, and then your main goal is to buy Green Ant Rider, Horrid Worms, Gillow Beast and Dire Alligator. Those guys, especially those two, Dire Alligator and Gillow Beast, will make your early game much easier. They have couple of the best skills in the game, in the early game. And this guy will give you pretty powerful skills for the rest of the game, for breeding. And Ant Rider basically will reduce your fears when you will crossbreed, and it is pretty good attacker in the early game because he has no fears. And he can inherit, his offsprings can inherit his fearless aura, which is great as well. So Grand Ant Rider, Horrid Worm, Gillow Beast and Dire Alligator. These are your goals. Here we can have these skills and upgrades. We have... So basically, if you want to develop your monsters as much as possible, you are starting with development bonus. You're gaining it to level 5 to get 2 skill points per level. Then you can go to increase your bite strength, for example. This gives you a possibility to attack small. Basically, it decreases energy cost of your attacks and increase bite strength. On level 3 plus 5, on level 6 plus 10. Next, you can go for 3 levels on athletics. It will give you a possibility to move far, and it gives you plus 10 endurance on level 3. Next important is agility. You can increase your critical chance, but most importantly on level 3 and level 5 you'll get an agility bonus. And you can get just some health points as well. 10 of them, maximizing this one. This is way to develop your monster. Now when you research a lot of stuff, you'll have a possibility to perform vivisection. It's just basically you need to perform it once on every type of species, one on insect, one of mammal, one on a lizard, and one on hybrid to get a possibility to research different skills. The next one is organ removal. Each creature has its own unique organ. For example, this guy has organ which gives you field vision. It's good, but it's not mandatory. You can kill creature and gain this organ to implant it to the other creature. So you have possibility to implant. In the highest level, you will have a possibility to implant 3 organs to one creature. So we can use 3 different organs and implant to this creature. When you implanted organs, your creature becomes injured for 1 turn and its total lifespan decreased by 30% on maximum level of research. So you need to be careful not to make your monster too old for breeding, for example. This could be good in the late game, but here it is. What is important? There are skills which could be upgraded only here. This skill is, for example, Spiny Skin. For upgrade this skill, you can use only Implantation. So basically, you implant different spiny skin organs to increase your skill, for example, by 44 max. This is maximum, 42 per 1 creature. And basically, you need to get spiny skin to level 100. You'll need to do this to both male and female twice. 1 level you will get to 50, for example, and next generation of offsprings you can up to 100. Next is taking blood. So basically you can take blood from your monsters. I recommend to use your reptiles because their blood increase lifespan of your monsters. Maximum you can take 3 different potions of blood from 1 monster, but it will have like blood loss for 3 turns. Each blood sample you take increase his blood loss for 20%, and 20% is healed for 1 turn. Basically you need to wait 3 more turns after you take his blood. So when you take blood, you'll receive 3 reptile bloods, and this guy cannot participate in combat in full force, so you need to wait 3 turns before this effect will end. Here you can sell your monsters. Here you can just kill your monster to get some meat in the late game for hybrids, to get hybrid meat, because you can't buy hybrid meat, only to get it by slaughtering. And here you can see his arena combat statistics. Okay, let's talk about breeding. Breeding, I think this is the most important part of this game. For breeding you need 2 creatures, 1 male and 1 female. Let's use our high level monsters. So we placed 1 male and 1 female here. To perform breeding of species, for example 2 hybrids, you need to use crossbreed potion. Let's pick. Okay, now reproduction is possible using crossbreed. Here you can see your offspring characteristics. For example, this guy will have, offsprings will have 41 plant diet percentage, 50 tameness, 8 liter size. It means that they can have up to 8 offsprings. They will have 10 years lifespan and 6 resilience. Here you can see estimated levels of basic stats and protections. Here you can see bite bonuses if you have any, and here you can see chances to inherit different abilities. We have the same abilities on both guys, so all of these numbers are 100, but if you'll use monsters with different abilities, you have only 50% chance to inherit it. Let's wait a minute here. Okay, I bought 2 more creatures, so let's use, for example, Harvest Worm and Dire Alligator. So you can see that they have different diets, so a resulting value will be between 0 and 100. Litter size will be between 3 and 5, lifespan from 2 to 13 years, and skills has pretty wide range as well. But I want to talk to you about skills inheritance. As you can see, those guys have different skills. One of them has greater lifesteal, and second one has poison speed and poison skin. So, advanced mechanic. If you want to increase elemental skills, you can use potion for this during breeding. For example, we have 2 poison skills. We can increase their value with using poison extract. And also we are increasing the chance to inherit this ability. So basically I can use 2 such potions and we will increase our chance to inherit this ability up to the 100. So this is for you to know how can you enhance chance to inherit some abilities and how can you manipulate this during breeding. The same if this guy, for example, had fire skin, we can use fire potion to increase chance to inherit this ability. Okay, this is like advanced mechanic. Now let's talk about fighting. Every day you will have 2 mandatory events, fighting events. One is catacomb. So basically you are fighting with different creatures and to receive money and level up. The easiest one is execution. You can use any of your monsters here to fight. There are 2 types of fights in this game. Manual fight, when you control your creatures, or auto combat. Auto combat you can use always in non-lethal combats if you don't want to waste your time. And manual fights I recommend to use for lethal fights, because when you lose your best monsters it is pretty bad. But actually if you're just casually playing, you can use safe load to protect yourself from losing monsters. It's also time. Let's use auto fight here. So for each fight you are gaining some income and you could gain level ups. You are gaining experience, so you can gain level up. And this catacomb fight, first one, I suppose it is impossible to lose, so you can use it for upgrading your lowest level and weakest creatures. Another type of event is tournament. Every month there is some kind of tournaments. The most dangerous and the best rewards are in this King Own tournament. It is in January, so once per year you have pretty strong event. Let's see this one we have today. So what do you have here? On the left side you can see additional bonuses or other stuff. For example, this one gives insectoids 25 agility bonus and every combatant gained poison weakness. So basically it is good for if you have insectoid monsters plus some poison attack. You have 2 types of combat. Lethal ones, you can see this sign of skull with bones. It means that this combat is lethal. Or you can have just non-lethal combat here, without this skull and bones. This one represents rewards. Some fights have additional rewards. For example, this one gives us concentrated frost extract. These potions are almost unique. So, for example, in late game, I'm making potions about 50 power, potion strength about 50 plus, and this one is 95 without side effects whatsoever. So these potions are superb, and sometimes you need to aim for gaining potions from these arena fights, because these potions are really nice. They have different rewards. Here you can get helmet, here you can get chest plate, here you can have bow. Sometimes, especially in early game and mid game, you can have pretty nice armor and weapon from these fights. In the late game you will have a possibility to make much better weapons and armor with your blacksmith. So let's actually open one fight. Every fight you can fight, not every, most fights you can choose your difficulty. You can fight easiest one, moderate difficulty and hard. It depends. This will increase your potential rewards, but this also increase enemy stats across the board. Also, you can see that this combat is non-lethal. You can use potions in your guys, and you are using your own equipment. Some fights you are fighting with equipment given you by the arena. This is a reward for participating. You are always gaining this reward, and this reward is given you if you win your combat. So you can go non-lethal combat without any risk to your guys and just look through enemy abilities to understand are you able to kill them or not without danger. About lethal combats. In lethal combats you can lose your monsters or warriors, human warriors. You need to be maybe more cautious here, not to lose creatures you need. Also here you can choose level of difficulty, but with lethal just be sure that you can deal with them. Some arenas will have additional rewards. For example, we have this Venom World event, and you can see these fights have stars. In the bottom of this icon you can see number of stars. For example, this gives you unique medal. You can see different medals from different events which you can get across the game. So basically you need to kill this creature with your creature less than level 8, and you will get unique medal for this unique fight, and you will get this unique equipment which gives you a lot of poison protection. Just to compare, you can craft in the end game, you can craft the same gauntlet, but its poison protection will be about 12-15, but this one is poison protection 30. So these are unique gauntlets and they look unique. Also, each fight needs you to place some unique maybe participants. So in this fight only monsters can participate. In this fight you can go with any creature you want, and some can use only, for example, this needs one monster and 2 melee guys to participate. So different level of rewards, different competitors and different type of fights are available in this game, and these unique missions which you can perform only once to get all these medals if you want to collect all the medals. Okay, and to summarize all this stuff, basically from the beginning of the game you need to decide which creatures do you want to have and how to breed them to get the strongest monsters possible. If you want to browse for all the creatures you have this encyclopedia. So for example, you can go to the insectoid species and you can see here all the species in the game with their skills. On the right side you can see their stats and their skills. Poison speed, poison skin, for example. Some monsters in this game could be only bought from the Druids market, and there is one species, actually two species which can, in each class, which can be only found during expeditions. Expedition is additional game mechanic I wasn't talking about. So you can basically use 3 different expeditions: island expedition, southern, northern. You are paying some sum of money. Every expedition has 3 different stages. On first one you are paying 4,000 gold and you'll receive some basic monsters. On second level you need to fight bandit fight, then pay, I suppose, 8,000 more gold to move further, and last one you need to pay something like 12,000 gold, fight another fight, little fight with Rogue Lord, and that one gives you 3 different events, caves with different monsters, which gives you a possibility to find some unique monsters. In each of this expedition, I suppose there is 1 or even 2 unique monsters. For example, we can get let's go to the end of this list. We can go to see this Sapphire Beetle and Cave Arachnid Queen. So basically these 2 monsters you can find only during expeditions. The same for reptiles. You can see those you can get this healing bird with unique skill selfless healer or great Tenosan lizard. You can find them only during expeditions. The same for mammals. You can get giant bear, only giant bear, I suppose, yeah. So you can go for these expeditions to get these unique monsters. But this is more middle game, like mid-game mechanic, because expeditions are quite costly. You need steady income for doing this. Now, let's return to our early game mechanics. In the early game, while you have no good creatures whatsoever, you need to decide what are you going to do. If you are aiming for good monsters, my advice is the same. You should aim for Druid market and those creatures I pointed out earlier. So, dire alligator, yellow beast, dire alligator, green ant rider, and horrid worm. When you crossbreed these guys, you will have pretty nice skill set available for you from the beginning. Also, you need to aim closer to mid to incorporate different protections and different types of bites. This is also needed to good mid-late game progression. We need to upgrade all these stats, maximum is 100. And also, you have 4 different protections and weaknesses. You need to aim to get all 4 of them and then to increase this to 100. Also, there are 5 different kinds of bites. This is physical one and 4 elementals. You can also gain all of them from breeding. And in the late game, you should be aiming for increasing all of these types of bites up to level 100 and to incorporate a lot of different skills. So basically, you can mate in the end some ultimate beasts, which also I am doing in my playthrough of this game. So I'm aiming to get as much good skills as possible in one single monster, plus all the protections and all the kind of bites. And basically all the skills, all the traits should be maximized to 100. So it's like end game goal. You have to upgrade your base. I think the most important is Monster Lab, then Monster Keep, then Shrine of Vitality and Alchemist Tower. These 4 are the most important buildings if you are going to breed your monsters. Alchemist Tower gives you a possibility to make great potions to increase your stats of your monsters during juvenile period. Monster Lab gives you a possibility to pick levels of humidity and temperature for each monster. And Monster Keep gives you a place for 12 monsters and also gives you a possibility to pick temperature levels and humidity levels to every single monster. I hope I covered all the bases here. I wish you a good, interesting journey in this game. This game is superb. You have a ton of possibilities. You can divide your own way. You can do whatever you like. Just enjoy the game and good luck to you. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye, guys.